Hey guys, my name is That Quiet Kid, and in this video, I'm going to cover two privilege escalation topics, that is Docker and LXD. So let's talk about Docker first. So Docker is a platform which gives us containerized environment for running applications. So what I mean by that is, let's say you have an application that has a dependency on Python 2.7, but your current system runs Python 3. So there are conflicts between the two versions. So that is where Docker comes in, basically giving you an isolated containerized environment in which you can create your application separate from your OS. So that is what, in short, Docker is. So let's see how we can escalate our privileges using that. So let's log in into the system using the credentials of a user that I just created, name as named Docker user. Password is also Docker user. Run bash and do id. So when you run id command, you will see that our user is a member of the Docker group. So basically we can run Docker images. This user can run Docker images. So what we are going to do is, we are going to I'm going to show you. So if you run Docker run, basically we are going to run a Docker image, and we are going to mount the volume. So we are going to mount the etc directory to the mount mnt directory of this containerized Alpine image. Okay, it will try to search for it. Just give it a minute. Now if you run id, you will see you are running as root inside this Docker container. We are not currently root on the operating system, but on the image. So what I have done is, I have mounted the etc directory uh, of the base system with the mnt mount directory of this Docker image. So we are running an Alpine. Alpine is the name of the container. So IT is for interactive, V is for volume, like which we are mounting. So inside this container we are root, and we can run all the commands. And we're mounted in such a way that etc and mnt directories are linked. So what we can do is, we are going to add our own root user. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a password first. So let me, on my base like Kali attacker system, let's run open ssl dash 6. I think it was dash salt droot droot. Oh, I think I forgot the command password. Yes. Okay, so now we have this password. Let's copy this. So I'm going to add a user. So how can I do that? I'm going to run echo droot is the name of the user. This is the hash. 0 is the user id, 0 is the group id, and user description, let's say it's droot. And the directory it shares, let it share the root directory. And let's run bin slash bash and append it to password file. But I forgot one thing, we need to be in the mount directory as well. Mount directory and etc directory are linked. So cancel out cd into slash mnt. Now run the command. Okay. Okay, now we have successfully done that. Let's exit out of that Docker image. Switch user to droot. No password entry for droot. There should be. Okay, I don't think the command ran successfully. Let's run that Docker again. cd into slash mnt. Okay, clear out my screen. Let's run that again. Echo droot hash. Okay, I am not sure. I don't think the command is running completely, so I will have to type it again. Droot. Copy the hash only. Okay. User ID 0, group ID 0, And the user description, let's say droot, and the directory is, let's say, root slash bin slash bash, and append it to the password file. Quotation mark is wrong, I think it's single quote. Now it should work. Exit out of here, switch user to droot, and the password is droot, and we are root on the base system. So if I navigate to slash root pwd, so we are in the root folder. So that is how we can escalate our privileges if our user is member of the Docker group. So let me clear off the screen, exit out of here, exit out of here, exit out of here. And now we are going to see how we can escalate our privileges using the second method, that is LXD. So let's talk about LXD. LXD stands for Linux Container Daemon, which is basically a hypervisor for managing Linux containers. But there is a difference. It focuses on system level containers. So what I mean by that is, in Docker we saw that it was, application level containerization, but in this case LXD manages Linux containers that are much more similar to a VM, like lightweight VMs. So this categorizes into I would say system level containerization. So let's get right into it. SSH into the system using the credentials of user LXD user @ 192.168.1.114. LXD user is the password as well, bash. And if you run the id command, you will see that our current user is part of the LXD group. So we require a Linux image right now, so like a Linux container image. So we can find that by simply going to Google and search for Alpine Linux container GitHub. I think it was LXD as well. Just give me one second. Yes, this is the one. Git clone this into your attacker system. CD into LXD Alpine builder, and you have this image. So we are going to transfer this image. So host it using python 3-m http dot server port 80, and download it using pwd, where we are LXD use. Okay, so wget http IP address is 192.168.1.116. I think this is the IP of my Kali machine, port 80, and the name of this image is, let me copy this. Okay, we have this image. So now what we are going to do is we are going to add this image to LXD. So this can be done using LXC image import dot slash this, and we are going to name it alias. Let's name it hacked. Okay, I think it's double dash. After this we need to verify if the image is added or not, so it can take some time. So I had to pause the video for a while because that image import was taking a long time, but we can verify it if the image was successfully imported or not using LXC image list. You can see that we successfully imported this hacked image. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a container named privilege escalation, or you can name it anything, it's completely up to you, with security flag set to privileged, such that it will give the container more access to the host resources. So we can do this simply using Linux init, and hacked is our image that we just imported, and let's name it something else. We can name it anything. So I am going with privilege escalation. You can name it anything, privilege escalation, and dash c security dot privileged equals to true. It's done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mount the whole file system to the mount directory of this newly created container. So how can I do that? Use lxc config device add privilege escalation my device disk source, like the whole directory of our host system. Path, we are going to mount it to mount slash priv. Let's name it priv, we can name it anything, it doesn't matter. And recursive equals to true. Why that recursive? So that it mounts all the subdirectories, everything. Press enter. Successfully done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this privilege escalation container. Now I'm going to get a shell access to this container using lxc ex execute privilege escalation slash bin slash, let's try bash. Okay, bash not found, let's try sh. Okay, so if you navigate to slash mnt mount, so you will see there is a priv directory, and if you go to that and do ls-la, I mean not ls-la, simply do ls. So you'll see this is the whole path of your host machine. So if you navigate to slash home and do ls-la, okay, just let me scroll back. So let's navigate to root first. So let's navigate to mount slash priv. Now we can go to root directory. So this way we can access the whole I think there should be a home. Yes, there is a home. If I navigate to that, okay, yes, okay. So I think I was again looking in the container probably. So you can see that I can access the host file system, and this is like all the users that exist. So if I have to access any file, so let me scroll back ls, and let's navigate to root directory ls-la. So we can cat out this dot bash underscore history. Okay, see, so now we can view any root file. We have full access, like root access to the host machine using lxc. So that's it for this video, and thank you for watching.